The History of Psychotrauma Management. Reverse, a physician, offered a more humane treatment based on psychoanalytic principles. His work with the young officer, Siegfried Sassoon, demonstrated the humane approach to treatment could help the soldier return to combat without the hysterical symptoms. His approach proved to be a success. But a few years after World War I, the interest in combat neurosis faded. Abram Gardiner, an American psychiatrist, began his research of combat neurosis in the 1920s. In 1941, he published his second book, The Traumatic Neurosis of War, which eventually gave way to his development of the modern framework of traumatic syndromes. The Vietnam War would be the next reappearance in the interest of combat neurosis by two American psychiatrists, Robert Lifton and James Shatan. Lifton and Shatan developed rap groups for combat veterans suffering from the psychological trauma of war and anti-war sentiment. These rap groups offered the soldier a place to discuss their experiences and raise awareness about the effects of war. But by the 1970s, the rap group spread across the nation, forcing the Veterans Administration to begin research into the effects of combat exposure to soldiers. It was also during this time the feminist movement began to raise awareness about the everyday violence in the sexual and domestic lives of women. The American Psychiatric Association developed the category of post-traumatic stress disorders. This category was based on the work of Gardiner. During the early 1980s, three crisis theories emerged: basic crisis theory, expanded crisis theory, and applied crisis theory. The three crisis theories opened the door for crisis intervention. Three basic crisis intervention models were developed. The models are the equilibrium model, the cognitive model, and the psychosocial transition model.
Created using Powtoon.